Greetings, juniors. Hey, this is your semester exam. When you take us, use the pause button a lot. After I read a question, a lot of times what I'll do is I'll just keep going to the next one. So, listen to a question, watch what I'm doing, and then I say hit pause until you're ready to move on. Okay. Make sure everything's good to go to put your answers in, Socrative and whatnot. If you have any questions, make sure you let me know. All right, hopefully this goes well for you. Good luck. Okay, guys, here's number 1. What is the value of the expression of negative 2 raised to the 5th power, okay? Negative 2 raised to the 5th power. Is it, right here, just use your calculator. Is it A, negative 32, B, negative 10, C, 10, or D, 32? Again, if you want to hit pause after each question when I read it, then that way you won't get behind or try to have to back it up. Number 2, what is the value of this expression when you plug in negative 2 for G? So just plug it in and work it out. Be real careful. Make sure you use the parentheses on your calculator. Do you get negative 29 for A, or B, negative 21, C, 21, or D, 29? Okay, for number 3, which of the following is simplified? So you've got this expression here, 8p squared minus q squared plus 2 plus 3q squared minus 2p squared. So how does that simplify? Combine your like terms. Watch your signs. Okay. We'll take a look at A, B, C, and D here. Alright, which one is it you get when you simplify it? Number 4, what is the solution to negative 3m minus 2 equals 10? So basically solve for m. Okay, solve for m. Do you get A, negative 4, B, a negative 8 over 3, C, 9, or D, 15? On number 5, what is the value of 2x times the set 3 minus 5x when x equals negative 2? So just plug him in, okay, and work it out. Do you get A, negative 52, B, negative 26, C, positive 26, or D, 52? Again, hit pause and give yourself some time to work. In number 6, which algebraic model represents a relationship in the table below? Okay, so take a look at our table values here for x's and y's, and I would just plug them in. Start with 0 and 2, plug in 0 for x and 2 for y, and work it out. Then go to 1 and 11, 2 and 20, 3 and 29. Plug them all in. It's got to work. All 4 sets got to work for the problem in order for it to be correct. Okay, so you just got to figure out A, B, C, or D. Which one of these does all 4 of those sets work in? So that'll take a little time. On number 7, it says your softball team is ordering equipment from a catalog. Each bat costs $42. The cost of shipping is $12 no matter how much you order. The total cost is $348. How many bats did your team order? So figure out how many bats you ordered. Was it A9 or A8, I'm sorry, B9, C10, or D11? Number 8, what is the value of 16r minus the set 1 minus s squared when r is 1 and s is negative 2? So just plug them in for each and work them out. Be real careful about the signs. Do you get A7, B15, C12, or D17? Okay, guys, in numbers 9 through 11, pay real close attention to these directions. We're going to use this set of data to answer the questions. So number 9 asks us, what is the mean Mean, remember, is just another way of talking about average. Okay, how do you find the average? So what's the average? Is it A 22, B 27, C 30, or D 31? Now number 10, what is the median? The median. Key word there. Median is a lot like meaning this word. So who is the middle number? Okay, is it 22, B 27, C 30, or D 31? Again, hit the pause if you need some time. And number 11. What is or are the modes? The modes, that's the number that pops up the most. Is it A 22, B 27, C 31, or D 22 and 31? Number 12, what is the range of the relation given by the ordered pairs? Remember, range has to do with your y coordinates. Okay, so which one of these sets of answers, A, B, C, or D, shows the correct range of the ordered pairs? On number 13, we got a picture of an input-output. And remember, the rule is for it to be a function, for every input, you can only have one output. Okay? So which of these, A, B, C, or D, would complete the diagram? Would it be 2 going to 18? Would it be B, 7 going to 2? C, -4 going to 5? Or D, 0 going into 18? Which of those would make it right? Remember, one input can only have one output. And number 14, which of these following functions is linear? Okay, linear has to do with how do we write a line, y equals mx plus b. So your choices are A, B, C, and D. Which of those do you think would be linear? And number 15, you have the f of x equals -5x squared plus 8 when x equals -2. So plug that -2 in for x. Okay, and we'll see here what your choices for answers are here. Let me zoom out there. Is it A, -12, B, -2, C, 18, or D, 28? Just plug it in and chug. Take your time and be careful with the calculator. On number 16, we have to figure out which set of points in A, B, C, or D will make a slope of -3/2. Remember, to find your slope, you take y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, okay? Hit pause and work that out. Okay, number 17. Want to know what is the slope of a line that is perpendicular, remember perpendicular, to another line that has a slope of 4. So if you got a slope of 4, which is like saying, okay, your slope is 4/1, if you're writing the equation of a line that's perpendicular, think about what do you have to do to this slope. You got to do something to the numbers, and you got to do something to the sign. Number 18, which is an equation of a line that passes through the point -4 and 4, but is also parallel to a line that is y equals 1/2 x minus 4. Now remember, if they're parallel, their slopes are going to be the same. So you need to look at which one of these four, A, B, C, or D, is going to have the same slope as that guy. Okay? And then use the -4 and 4, plug it into y equals mx plus b to figure out your b. Okay? Okay guys, at number 19, you're given a point -2 and 5, -4, -5. And you need to write the equation of a line. So to find your equation of a line, you got to find your slope. Use y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 like we did before. Okay? Once you find your m, use one of these points, doesn't matter which one. Plug that in for x and y. You found your slope, your m, plug that back in, use that then to find this b. That'll tell you which equation A, B, C, or D you're looking for, okay? Number 20, your swim team wants to raise $75 at a car wash. You charge $4 for a wash and $7 for a wax. Okay, so which equation, A, B, C, or D here, would best model that? So it's $4 for a wash, okay, $7 for a wax, and altogether you're going to need it to equal 75 bucks, right? Remember, make sure you hit pause and take some time to work it out. Okay guys, on number 21 here, you need to tell me which statement's true about the graphs. So we got two graphs there. You've got M and N graph here. So which statement's true? Listen carefully. Is it A, M and N show a positive correlation? B, M shows a positive correlation and N shows a relatively no correlation? Is it C, M and N show relatively no correlation? Or D, M shows a negative correlation and N shows a positive correlation? Number 22, how many solutions does this system have? Basically, how many places do the lines intersect? Is it A, none, B, 1, C, 2, or D, infinitely many solutions? Okay, number 23. What is the solution of the system of equations below? Now, you've got your equations right here, okay? Remember, you need to try to solve for either the x or the y, and then plug it back in to solve for the other one, and get a set of coordinates. Make sure when you're deciding who to get rid of, whether it's the x or the y's, take a look at the signs, take a look at the numbers, figure out who would be easy to get rid of. Make sure you hit pause so you can get some time to work on that. Hey guys, I made a mistake. Number 23 wants to know which of these is a solution to the system of equations. So all you got to do is take the x and the y, okay, for each ordered pair and plug them into the equations. Okay, if it balances out, like on the top one, if you get 1 equals 1 and negative 3 equals negative 3, then that would be a solution, okay? If they don't work out to get the same thing on both sides, they're not a solution. That's what you're doing in 23, and it's also what we're doing in number 24. Just plug in like negative 2 for the x and negative 3 for the y, work it out. I'm sorry for messing you up there. Take a moment, work goes out. Okay, number 25 says you have $50 in quarters and dimes. There are 250 coins altogether. Which system of equations can you use to find the number of each type of coin you have? So you want to know how many quarters and how many dimes you have total. Okay, so looking at your choices of A, B, C, and D, which system of equations would work out right? So think about it. You got $50 total, but a total of 250 coins. Okay, so those are kind of your important numbers that you need there. Okay. Okay, number 26. Which of these answers, A, B, C, or D, is a solution to the system of equations? So all you have to do, again, is just plug, that 12.5 in for x and that 1 for y, and see how things work out. Okay, work them out in both equations. If it don't work, keep working. Maybe it's C, maybe it's D, I don't know. Okay, but just plug them in and work them out. Same thing for number 27. If you want to hit pause and work on 26, that's fine. Number 27 is the same concept. The only difference is, take a look, you've got 1, 2, 3 equations now. So in A, you've got x, y, and z. Okay, so that's how you need to plug them in and work those out. So hit pause and take some time and work those out. Number 28. A necklace has 56 red, white, and blue beads. Twice the number of red beads is equal to 3 times the number of white beads. The sum of the number of beads, blue beads, and white beads is 20 more than the number of red beads. So how many white beads do we have? Okay, you got 4 choices, 12, 18, 20, and 26. Now don't just guess, okay? Let me kind of take you through this and let's pick out important information. Okay, you got 56 total, okay? Now, here's an important part right here. Twice the number of red beads is equal to 3 times the number of white beads. So just for example, if I'm going to write twice a number, I'm going to say 2x, and I think you understand that. And that's going to be equal to 3 times the number of white beads. Okay, so really in all, if you want to assign everybody a letter, let me erase this 2x part. Okay, if you want to assign everybody a letter, that would be very wise to do. So here's what you do. So we got red, white, and blue. Now, who we do not know anything about is the white. So he's going to get called X, okay? Because in the end, at the last question there, you see how many white beads do you have. So you don't know squat about that, okay? Now we work backwards, and where it says 3 times the number of white beads, and it says then twice the number of reds. So, and then the blue beads and white beads are 20 more than the red. So you just got to kind of start piecing things together, all right, to try to get it all equal to 56, okay? Take some time on this problem, okay, to get it to set up. Okay, number 29, a high school's enrollment is 950 students, which includes sophomores, juniors, and seniors. Twice the sophomore enrollment is 3 times the senior enrollment. And the total enrollment, or the total number of juniors and seniors enrolled, is 200, more than the number of sophomores enrolled. So how many seniors are there enrolled? So again, you got to start figuring out what your important pieces of information here is, folks. The whole twice the sophomore enrollment is 3 times the senior enrollment, and the seniors total 200. Okay, use that information, but everything's going to equal 950. Okay, for the number of students. So you should come up with how many seniors. Is it A, 250, B, 325, C, 375, or D, 400 seniors? Okay, number 30, which inequality represents the solution to negative 3x minus 1 is greater than or equal to 11? So all you got to do is work that out. Add 1, divide by negative 3. Remember, when you divide by a negative or multiply by a negative, what's going to happen to this sign right there, okay? So make sure you're careful, and you got your choices are A, x is less or equal to 4, B, x is greater or equal to 4, C, x is less or equal to negative 4, or D, x is greater than or equal to negative 4. Number 31, which inequality represents a solution? So you got 7x plus 2 is less or equal to negative 1x plus 18. Throw 1 in front of that negative. Just work it out. Get your x's on one side, your whole numbers on the other, and your choices are A, x is less or equal to 2, B, x is greater or equal to 2, C, x is less or equal to 3, or D, x is greater or equal to 3. Okay guys, in number 32, which compound inequality is shown in the graph below? So take a good look at at your graph, notice that they are going out. Okay, so these are OR statements. Pay attention to, you got an open dot on the left, closed one on the right. Okay, so be careful which one you're choosing, A, B, C, or D here. Number 33, similar to 32, the only difference is we got a little bit different look. Sorry about that. Here we go. A little different look here. You got an open dot right here. You got a closed one right there on 2. Remember, if they're coming together, it's not an OR, it's an AND. So choose wisely here when you're looking at A, B, C, or D. On number 34, you've got 3, -2. Okay, one's an X, one's a Y here. You want to figure out A, B, C, or D, which inequality of these 4 does that point work for? So you got to plug them in for X, plug it in for Y, and just work it out. And if it satisfies a solution, like if you had 2 is less than 4, which is true, then that would be a solution, just for an example there, okay? So take your time, hit pause if you need a little extra time to work on that. Number 35 here, which inequality, A, B, C, or D, which one of those linear inequalities works with this graph? Now pay attention, you got a dashed line on here, and notice that everything's being shaded below. If it's shading below, it's pushing you down, making you less, right? So keep that in mind when you're looking at these 4 choices, okay? Pay close attention to also there's your y-intercept, that point right there, okay? On number 36, we want to know which system of inequalities does the graph show here. Now the common area that's being colored in is right in here on the graph. So which of these 4 systems goes along with that? So you got, if I color this line green, he obviously was going below the graph, and this black line here was going above. So it gives you something to go off of when you're looking at your inequality. On 37, you've got a system of inequalities right here, okay? All you got to do is simply, take an X and a Y, plug them in, see if it works. So figure out which one, A, B, C, or D, works for both of them. It can't just work for one, it's got to work for both. On number 39, you've got a graph here of a inequality. Now the answers all are on absolute value. So remember, when you do absolute value, you need to make it into 2 different problems. So just for a reminder here, you got this would be 2x minus 1 less than 2, and this would be an AND since it's less than. So and 2x minus 1 is greater than, and you got to change the sign, make that -2. So work those out, see which graph goes along. And your last question here, number 40, which function is represented by the graph? Okay, so you look at A, B, C, or D, each one of those functions. Which one do you think, if you graphed it using your graphic calculator, you should be able to match it right up? Okay, check back through all your answers carefully, make sure you've answered everything. All right, hopefully you did real well. Have a good day.